Is everything topsy-turvy for you, Dan? Here I'm using a wand from your very, very favorite Disney film, Esmeralda's cheering for me. Oh yes, be sad. Go be in your corner and grow mushrooms. Hey guys, it's Morgan Strong Comnick here, author for Paper Crane Books, and my fellow pressmate Dan Wright and I are doing our March Disney Villain Madness blog event, and today is our last round. And I didn't mean to talk so long with my first tag team. I guess with two characters, it's a little easy to do that. So I'll try to be briefer in this one, but I still want to make my points across. Of course, you can read them below if you don't have time to watch the video. You can just listen to the audio, and I know I go, nah, 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 nah. But I love Disney, and I hope that shows. Dan and I both love Disney. And we're really happy to share these villains in a new shadow, because I guess they don't want to be in the light, so I'll say shadow. And we're on my second tag team today. This is round 8. And I've got a huge roster, so I'll try to name them all off before this video is over so you remember to vote. Because after this, you guys get to decide the fate and see the final 4, 2 from my team, 2 from Dan's team. We're going to do like a kind of recording thing together, and then we're going to see who you guys vote for the final 2, do another fun recording, see the champion, and then the punishment for the loser, along with, with some other fun stuff. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really pumped. I didn't get to mention this in my last video. I'm doing, since we're doing duos, I'm doing a duo video today. And I've got my Tsubasa feather from Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, great anime manga series. I love my favorite mangaka, Clamp. Get my memories, second tat, Princess Sakura. And I've got, of course, my Rose shirt, kind of Beauty and the Beast inspired. And I've got my Black Butler hat, because I'm simply one heck of a Disney fan. I don't cuss, so that's my paraphrasing of that famous line from Sebastian. But anyway, round 8 is my final 2 competitors, and I'm really excited to introduce them because one, I grew up watching. It was my brother's favorite film when he was younger. My dad enjoyed it too when he was growing up. Well, not growing up. I can't remember seeing it when he was in high school. But anyway, so I get to do that, and then I got to do kind of a less known Disney villain. I don't really know the villain that well, to be frank, but just looking at him, I think I'm going to win just because he's so scary looking. Alright, so let's meet my next duo team. We have Prince John from Robin Hood. Not Robin Hood Men in Tights by Mel Brooks, although that is a fantastic, fantastic film if you are 18 and older. And there's the Horn King from the usually less famously known The Black Cauldron. And you're going to learn a little bit about the Horn King. And I hope I've got pictures somewhere in one of the videos, or I can add a picture, because, I had the heebie-jeebies, like Shaggy and Scooby, after looking at that guy. So, I'm glad he's on my team. Alright, so, Prince John is the first one from Robin Hood. Prince John is greedy, and he's power-hungry. He's this crybaby lion. He's the younger brother of the great King Richard. And while King Richard is away to battle in the Crusades, he's being all King Richard the awesome, King Richard the lion-hearted, King Richard the good, yada yada. He's doing all those things. Prince John is temporarily in charge of the kingdom, and he's making it miserable. I mean, he's making the town of Nottingham just miserable, miserable, miserable. And he's stealing from families and churches, and then when the sheriff comes and takes that money from the friar, and the friar's in jail, and they're eating like the porridge, and they're helping me. It makes me so sad every time. I can't. The rooster does that song, the magical, and I can't listen to it. I can't. It's just, it breaks my heart. Now, Prince John is actually based on a real person. I tried to stay away from villains who are completely based on historical figures, because Disney takes a lot of liberties with them, which I understand. They're trying to be kid-friendly. But I guess since my dad is a history teacher, and I'm such a history fan and buff myself, it kind of, I just don't feel right making them on my team. So, but in this case, since he's a lion, and I know he's not a lion, I felt a little bit better sharing Prince John with you guys. So the real Prince John actually was the one who signed the Magna Carta, which is a good thing. Helped us with laws. Was a good example for democracy. I mean, yay! That doesn't sound like the John from Disney at all. He's a very intellectual ruler. He had a good head on his shoulder. Really, Disney? Is this the same guy? You're slandering some guy's name? There's a little bit more, but I was kind of surprised by that. I knew John wasn't a bad guy in history, but it's kind of neat to see how far Disney would go. He shares traits with the Disney lion Monarch, as they are both overlooked by their mothers. And that explains Prince John in Disney's film, him freaking out every time there's a reminder of his mom or somebody mentions, I know what your mother's is when you're, Mommy, and he sucks his thumb, because he wants his mother's approval. And he never got that. Richard was her golden child. And although he is the favorite of his father, I don't think Disney really mentions his father, but the Prince John is given this role as kind of temporary king while Richard is gone because his father likes him so much. I mean, because the queen is powerful, but she doesn't have the power to do that. It doesn't really mention what happened to their mom in the Disney version. Prince John, he's not very good at military and battle strategy, and they call him Soft Sword. No inappropriate jokes here. We're just going to move on with our lives. The reason in real life that he actually had to tax the citizens so highly was to support his brother Richard, the golden boy of the world, in the Crusades. So he wasn't taxing the people to just tax them, like in the Disney movie. He was taxing them to support his brother and the kingdom at the same time. Okay, I mean, it's harsh, I guess. I mean, I understand people are poor, but that sounds legit. It's like we sometimes increase taxes for good things to help, like, children in schools, build better roads, yada yada. It's not people complain, but there's a reason to the madness. Disney decided to make their John pretty greedy, for their gold, a little bit different, and Robin Hood was the obstacle in his goal for getting all the gold. The real Prince John, though, he did have a few little negative quirks. He liked to drink and party, and he had a really short temper, just like the Disney character that we know and love. Prince John has sidekicks. He's got Sir Hiss and, of course, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and they're really cruel, intimidating villains on their own. There can be pretty mean villains in Disney, but not often because they completely hold their own. Like the Sheriff of Nottingham, you don't really see him interact too much with Prince John. He does his own thing. He knows how to be evil. He knows how to do his thing, but he also listens when he has to. And of course, Sir Hiss can just hypnotize John, and I don't know why he doesn't do that to begin with, but I guess he wants to stay loyal to him. He actually never had a villain song, period, even intended for him, which is rare for Disney. But there's a little skit in the forest after they bring Marion and the lady chicken, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, back to the forest, and there's the phony King of England, and Little John and the Friar and the kids are doing like the little puppet show, the phony King of England. I love that. And it's not considered a song, but it's a little melody about him. He's the second villain to have a song written negatively about him, Cruella being the first. And she's on my team too, so yay, negative songs, yay! Sad. Prince John originally was actually going to be a tiger for the Disney movie, but because King Richard, the real King Richard, is known as Richard the Lion-Hearted, because lions are, mighty and proud, just kind of like, Gryffindor uses Griffin, which is part lion. For that, they decided, well, they're brothers, they both have to be lions, so I guess tigers and lions can intermate. I don't really actually know if that's a fact or not. Probably. I'm sure the Kratz brothers would know from Kratz Creatures. I don't know. You probably guys don't know what I'm talking about. But then I got thinking, like, there's a lot of evil tigers. Disney, like the Jungle Book. And this was intended to be a tiger, Prince John. I mean, he's the antagonist. I don't know. Are tigers evil? I wouldn't go pet one. But I figure they're just as dangerous as lions. And panthers and cheetahs and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe Disney knows something I don't. Prince John is actually being compared to several Disney villains before his time and after. I don't know if that's really a good thing. That's probably, maybe he's not original, but he's got past role models, and then he's kind of educating the future, I guess. So that's pretty cool that he's doing that. And he was actually voted number 9 in the Watch Mojo Disney's villain list, which is pretty awesome. And I know Prince John himself is really cowardly, kind of like Captain Hook is. Well, Captain Hook's on my team too. But Prince John can hold his own. I mean, when he wants something, he'll get it. And he's got really tough minions. He's got really loyal guards. So I don't know. He could hypnotize kind of like Jafar. We'll have to see. Now this guy, I know, can hold his own. And this is the Horned King from the 1985 movie, The Black Cauldron. Not a very well-known Disney movie. is a kind of infamous for being so low budgeted. But, oh well. I mean, you guys should check it out at least once if you're a Disney fan. It's actually the first Disney animated film ever to get a PG rating for content. And also was the first Disney film to have a video game based on it in 1985. Pretty cool, especially for you gamers, very classic. The purpose of the Horn King's evil is, and this is so dark, he wants to gain godhood. And he doesn't hide it. He admits it to everybody. I mean, his foes, his people he works with, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna use his dark power to be a god. Wow, that's beautifully dark, man. That's beautiful. That's wrong. That's beautiful. And the reason he wants to make the zombie army is because he wants to wipe out all of the mortals. Okay, so he wants to be a god, but he's not going to have any subjects or followers, or he's going to rule like this barren, lonely world, and he's apparently really happy about that. And I know some villains do that, but that's just really low. I mean, gosh. He's tried several dark methods before to try to achieve this goal, and that's why his body looks like a skeleton. That's a very, very popular and very likely theory from Disney fans and some of the people who've read the books that the movie is based on. Yeah, I mean, he's a skeleton, and it's really creepy. It's like Skeletor. I believe Skeletor has some muscle mass. And Skeletor's got the funny voice. But the Horn King's still very physically strong, he's agile, and he's got the very villainous voice. I mean, it's again, heebie-jeebies, Scooby-Doo. No Scooby snacks, that made me feel better about that. He's cold personality, he's very composed, not really cracking a joke ever. Even when he's mocking his foes a few times, they're serious threats to him. He's very arrogant, and he's driven by personal desire. A lot of Disney villains are power-hungry or want revenge. And he's just like, I'm gonna be a god. Woke up one morning, said, Dad, I'm gonna be God. He's like, okay, so that's cute, your Cheerios. No, he really meant it. So, well, good for you for being persistent, I guess, Horn King. Good for you. He has a vast and diverse army, including a troll, a huntsman, a dragon, and, of course, the zombie-like creatures that he resurrects from the Black Cauldron, called the Cauldronborn. Okay, the Cauldronborn, awesome sauce name for zombies. I'm just saying, I don't really like zombies that much, but Cauldronborn, I love it. I remember the scene where they kind of, like, pop out of the cauldron, and they're so shadowy and dark, and oh my lord, they're creepy. They so creep me out. I mean, he's got a team like that. I'm good to go. The film is actually based on a Newbery Medal book series, and that series is based on Welsh mythology. I don't actually know a lot about Welsh mythology, but I know mythology in general from Greek, Roman, and Egyptian is got some pretty dark undertones and got some. It's just twisted. So I'm sure Welsh has some twisted stories too. And if not, I apologize to anybody who believes in Welsh mythology or has Welsh descendancy. My bad. I did this research for my Disney class for my kids. This was probably the hardest film for me personally to find inappropriate game for kindergarten and third grade age kids to play based on this film, because we covered every animated Disney and Pixar film. Every single one. And we had to do like either a craft, and that wasn't going to happen, or an activity. I did something like where they, one of them was a little pig and with a little bell, and they got a head start, and everybody else was the zombies trying to, capture the pig for the Horn King. Horn King wouldn't capture the pig, he'd do something else. Bacon. But that's what I did with the kids, and they had a lot of fun with it, even though they never, ever, ever heard of the film, which totally not surprising. But this film, and I learned this in my research at the time, had 12 minutes cut from it, and that's quite a bit, because Disney films normally aren't longer than an hour and a half. I think that one is 85 minutes, I believe, I found out. So that's quite a bit. But there's some reasons. Again, it was for content, a little bit for budget and time, but a lot of it for content. For example, there's a Cauldronborn, again, the zombie from the Black Cauldron, the zombie army, that slices a man's neck and torso off, and you can clearly see it. That's morbid, Disney. That's so morbid. And there's also a part where the young man who, I can't remember his name for the life of me. I've only seen this movie one time in my life. The main character, he's slicing one of the guards for the Horn King, and it's not. I guess you can see it more because there's sword fighting and stabbing in other Disney films. But the one that personally got me is there's a scene where the princess, the forgotten Disney princess, she's dangling from a cliff, and the hero's trying to grab her. But they find her, and she's like almost completely naked. Her clothes are all ripped, and that was so tactless, guys. No, it's wrong. It's 1985. We're past the hippie age. I don't know what's going on with that. And we know that the Horn King kidnapped her, but we never see it. He never really explains how that happens. I don't know. What did he do to her? Do I need to be calling a hotline? I mean, other than the kidnapping part, for something else? That poor girl. She's so brave considering all that stuff happened to her. And the Horn King's really creepy. I don't want him touching me. I don't know. That just... Oh, that's wrong. He also has one of the most graphic deaths in Disney history. His bones basically get kind of peeled and ripped away, and then he gets sucked into the Black Cauldron. Wow. Again, kind of like Scar. Irony. The thing you are seeking the most to cause the world destruction caused your demise. Funny. Funny. He's actually the first Disney villain to officially be king, and Prince John is appointed as a temporary king, but he's not the king. So the Horn King is actually the king was ruled. How many times can I say king in a sentence? I don't know. I need to count that. He's actually the 24th greatest Disney villain of all time, and the third place in the Watch Mojo's top 10 Disney animated villains. Again, when you look at this guy, you see his dark arts. He doesn't give a rip that you're trying to stop him. He's trying to be a god with no no citizens to rule. He don't give a D word. He just doesn't. He also actually has inspired non-Disney villains, such as a pretty major villain in the Adventure Time series. I haven't watched it, but that alone was pretty cool. And also there is a voice of a villain in My Little Pony that is based on the Horn King's villainous voice. Wow. You got Adventure Time, My Little Pony, two very, very cult-heavy, especially in modern time, series, using this kind of hidden in the shadows Disney villain as their inspiration. That's pretty boss, man. Epic. And that is my team. That is Prince John and the Horn King. And I think the Horn King's description of just him using these dark powers, they never explain his drive to be godly. He's got all these really intense, loyal pets and henchmen, and he's fast and furious and strong. You know, he's bones, and he just looks so creepy. I think I quit and run to the bathroom. I just looked at him, and Prince John would probably cower behind him. But again, he's got the hypnotizing snake, and maybe he's gonna have a bag of gold, and he can like hit it. Cause gold hurts. I wouldn't know, but I know heavy sacks hurt. Wow, that makes no sense. And he's got claws. He's a lion. I guess if he had to, he could use them. But I think the Horn King would definitely be like my main intimidator in that round, especially if he can call up the Black Cauldron and the Cauldron Born, and just they grow from the ground like seeds with miracle grow, and they just shadows, and they just wham the team into oblivion. Yay, we get the crown! Yay! Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking with me again. I'm very, very grateful for that. This is round 8, the final round. We have 6 singles, and again we have the 2 duo teams. So make sure you vote for Prince John and the Horn King, the creepy skeleton guy in the robe that looks kind of like an Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi robe with Skeletor hidden in it. That'd be really actually a pretty cool fan fiction if somebody did like Skeletor as a Jedi or a Sith. I don't know much about Star Wars, but I do know that much because I bought my husband a purple lightsaber. Or he bought himself one. But anyway, we got a purple lightsaber here. But go ahead and vote for Prince John and the Sword King for round 8, and we'll see which of our either 2 singles, 2 duos, a combination. Anyway, 2 groups for my team will continue on, and Dan and I will, battle royale, a little tougher, some live action for us, live recording. I don't know what's going to say. I mean, all the gloves are coming off, the hats are going to come off. I'm not taking my hat off, though, because I want to channel my Sebastian demonic awesomeness and love for cats into my mouth. But again, thank you guys. Don't forget to vote for my team. I have Cruella de Vil, I have Jafar, I I have Scar, I have Yzma, Captain Hook, Lady Tremaine, or the Wicked Stepmother from Cinderella. I've got King Candy, and I've got Syndrome, and I've got Prince John, and I have the Horn King. And there may be, I don't know, tucked away in a cave. Might have another secret weapon. I don't know, Dan. Am I bluffing? Am I not? Can you tell? Or am I just talking to nobody now because everybody got tired of me talking? You'll find out. Oh, yes. You'll find out. And my villains and villainesses will rule supreme. Better hug your teddy bear tight tonight, Dan. It better not be Lotso because he's competing and unripe strawberries. Yeah. Alright, guys. See you for the Final Four competition. Alright, have a good night. Ja!